Episode 356.
A number like this is a cornerstone. It's part of your DNA. You're doing all these things for your business. You have a website. You're on social media. You're sending direct mail. You might be doing radio or some small TV. This is something you put in all of those pieces because it's what people are going to remember you by. And you're already doing all this stuff, or a good shop is already doing all of the things they need to do. They're just not memorable.
Welcome, aftermarketers, to Remarkable Results Radio. Listen to learn just one thing from today's episode on your journey to remarkable results. Hey, Carm Capriato here, and I welcome you to episode 356 of Remarkable Results Radio. Now, with over 400 collective episodes between the RRR Town Hall Academy and the new show, For the Record, we bring you the power of the spoken word, and it's all because of your acceptance of this long-form audio interview as a learning tool for you, your life, and your business. Remarkable Results Radio is supported by Federal Mogul Motor Parts, so when you need to search for parts, get the latest technical updates, or sign up for the Garage Rewards and Tech Loyalty Program to earn some swag, go to fmmotorparts.com. Hey, be sure to catch the latest Town Hall Academy episodes on the Academy page on the website or inside your podcast subscription services. Each week, we tackle a new topic. Joining me in this episode is Bruno Tabbi. He is the president and co-founder at Ignition Toll Free, where he focuses on premium vanity phone numbers, including 1-800-MECHANIC. Now, when I heard of Bruno, I thought you needed to hear his story and understand more about the power of the phone. Bruno says that organic marketing through phones is still alive and important in this day and age. We are so preoccupied with online marketing strategies that we forget that the phone call is still relevant and powerful. Managing your incoming phones is as important as having a solid SEO strategy for the web. Find the key talking points in Bruno's bio at remarkableresults.biz/E356. Bruno says, calls convert more than clicks. Hey, a warm welcome to Bruno Tabbi, president and co-founder of Ignition Toll Free. Hey, Bruno.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
I find what you do, your company, and your services to be fascinating. And I love how it fits into our automotive aftermarket. And Bruno's here because he has an organic marketing tool that makes shops memorable. Now, I think I got my listener on the edge of their seat.
You know, our service and what we do, and you know, obviously the number that brings us here today is 1-800-MECHANIC. But what we do is we've done this process with all different types of businesses, and we take easy to remember phone numbers like 1-800-DRYWALL or 1-800-FORD cars, 1-800-Chevy cars, and we put them into our routing system where it allows us to regionalize a phone number. And the best way to help people understand this is it's like Uber. Uber knows where to pick you up. Well, with this GPS technology that we use, we know where to send people's calls. So our customers can license a market for a specific territory and receive every call from that market.
That's what I didn't quite understand. I'm talking with Bruno a few weeks ago, and I said, okay, how does it work? And you just said it's how the GPS routes the call. And that's when I figured that out, I realized that you could have a 1-800-MECHANIC in every area code, right?
Exactly. And that's actually the reason why you haven't seen these phone numbers more prevalent, because outside of the scarcity and how hard it is to get them, the technology didn't exist. So one person in, Des Moines had this great phone number. Imagine a florist, somewhere in the middle of Nebraska with 1-800-FLOWERS, and they're only using it for this little town out there. It just seems like a huge waste of resources and an opportunity. But we were able to create this technology where we can now bring these calls and regionalize it. And it really is ownership. It's not leasing the number, it's a license. So it's very entrepreneurial. I've had people retain them, sublease them. I've had people hold on to them after they've sold their business. So you're really free to do what you want with it. And you do own the number for your market.
Wow, 1-800-MECHANIC. To me, that would be almost like SEO for phones.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, It's the number that people are going to remember, when they're just on the move and they don't want to pull up their smartphone, or they don't want to, it's the thing when your car breaks down, you're going to remember, because the last thing you want to do is be pulled over on the side of the road, smashing into your smartphone, like looking for a mechanic. That's just frustrating.
Well, it seems to me that the smartphone and the internet work hand in hand today. If I am stuck and I need auto care in Springville, New York, where I live, if the shop does a good job with SEO, great. Maybe I'll show up on the first page. But if I've done a great job in all my marketing areas and it's 1-800-mechanic, I may not even have to go to smartphone to do a search, because it's so easy to remember that number.
That's the goal. And I think this is something that your listeners, because we work, like I said, I've been in so many different industries. Like we have 1-800 varicose for vein treatment, and 1-800 drywall, and 888 fencing. So I'm in all different types of industries. And I see a lot of correlation between the auto repair shops and dentists, because they service a small local market. And I see a lot of similarities with contractors and auto repair shops in kind of how the lead generation services try to really go after them. SEO marketers really promise them the world, the moon and the stars. And this isn't like, oh, well, you're going to use a vanity phone number like 1-800-mechanic, or you're going to focus on internet. No. A number like this is a cornerstone. It's part of your DNA. You're doing all these things for your business. You have a website. You're on social media. You're sending direct mail. You might be doing radio or some small TV. This is something you put in all of those pieces, because it's what people are going to remember you by. And you're already doing all this stuff, or a good shop is already doing all of the things they need to do. They're just not memorable. And so it's forcing people to go online. And at the end of the day, Google has made no promises to anyone that you're guaranteed to show up if you get lots of reviews. That's the case today. But as we all know, it was a different story a few years ago. It was about keywords and meta tags, and they changed that. And they said, hey, now you got to get reviews to compete against Yelp. And I'm sure they'll change the narrative again. It's a dangling carrot, and everyone's chasing after it. And this just gives people an advantage, because only one person in each market can get it. So there's exclusivity. Nothing on the internet is exclusive, right? I mean, you put your name somewhere, and 5 minutes later, a lot of competitors are surrounding you. So this is, I think, something that could really work for the right type of shop.
Wow, how cool that is. And I do like what you said. It's another tool in the toolbox. Recording these calls, I mean, a lot of, and the whole part of the value of being able to close that call when the call opportunity comes in, I think of recording calls. Does your service help with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of our numbers come with call tracking and call recording. And this is really interesting, because I'm sure a lot of your listeners are already utilizing call recording, which is great for monitoring customer service, because, and this is a big caveat, a number like this is going to help you get more calls, but if you're not handling those calls correctly, you won't convert them. And this is the most important part. Calls convert at a rate of 10 to 15 times that of web leads. So you want calls.
Wow, that's a huge number.
So what we're seeing is web leads are only converting about 2% of the time. And I have people say, well, we're doing a really good job on our SEO. We're doing it 10%. And I said, fine, but calls are doing it 20, 40% of the time. Okay. So you're leaving a lot of business on the table if you're just driving people online.
They're converting only if the service advisor is good at the other end?
Has to be. You have to handle that call promptly, intelligently. It can't sound like rough and tumble. Like, you got to answer that call with a very professional demeanor. Some of our clients will even say things like, thank you for calling ABC Auto Shop at 1-800-mechanic. How can we help you? They're reinforcing that number and their brand every step of the way. If there's an on-hold message, they'll say, ask us about this discount, and thanks for calling us at 1-800-mechanic, because it's all part of the branding. Everything you do is branding. And people say, well, we're already doing that with our company name. But here's the difference. This is a way for them to connect with you directly and to refer you. And that's a big part of it, because I tell people all the time, how do you get your business? A lot of people say, we do a lot of word of mouth, a lot of referrals. I said, that's great, but how do people refer you? And they're like, what do you mean? How do they tell us other people? And I say, no. The physical act of a referral, how does it occur? And they're like, well, I go, if they say, hey, Remarkable Auto Care, they did a great job. Okay, I'll look them up. Well, boom, now I see a Yelp review. I see a couple of other reviews. I see pay-per-click ads surrounding you. If somebody could just say, Remarkable Auto Care, 1-800-MECHANIC, that's how you refer someone. And that's the least amount of static or resistance in between those two people.
Yeah, I can see exactly the point you're trying to make here. If I had an exceptional experience at a shop, and it's off the charts where I'm telling people, and it is Remarkable Auto Service, wow, maybe the friend of mine in the social setting that I'm in won't remember the name at the end of, oh, wait a minute, we were out with Carm the other day, and what was he saying? I think it was 1-800-MECHANIC. To me, that would be almost the easy piece to retain in your mind.
Exactly. And with the terms and the words, and was it Remarkable Auto Service or Remarkable Auto Care, you don't know what's popping up. And that's the big thing. It's not us versus the internet, but all I'm trying to let people know is you don't know where you're sending people all the time. There's no guarantee that you're going to know what they're going to encounter. And yes, being well optimized is huge and it helps, but having this phone number is like a steroid. It's like an enhancement to everything you're doing. And if you can stop some people from going online, if it's unnecessary for them to do so, then you're winning, because reliance on the internet is dangerous. It's complacency, because the second something changes, and that happened in our own business. I mean, I can attest to this. When we first started this business, we had a lot of success with email marketing. And then eventually the spam filters and the flagging came about. And we had to step back for a second and say, hey, you know what? We didn't do the basics. We weren't doing the basics. And now we have to go back to really working on our phone skills, our direct mail skills, and all those things, because we neglected them because we were going for the low-hanging fruit. And so this keeps you on your toes. This lets you stay as memorable as you can be. And that's what it's all about.
I believe you would agree that being a top tech is real hard work. Keeping up is a full-time gig, considering vehicle technology, repair procedures, and diagnostics. It's refreshing to know that Federal Mogul Motor Parts' Garage Guru is there for you. It's been designed by and for technicians, the best in the industry. And did you know there's no other comprehensive program like this anywhere? A big part of the program is the nationwide network of Guru's on-site training and technology centers. There, you can get your hands dirty with the equipment and tools you use every day in real work-related situations. When online is your perfect way to learn, do it with Guru's 24/7 online academy with a huge catalog of training course options. And with the Guru's on-the-go technology fleet, they bring the latest products and demos right to your shop. And this year, you get free stuff from the Garage Rewards loyalty program. You earn points towards gear from your favorite Federal Mogul Motor Parts' brands. And what is really great, it costs nothing to join, and you'll start earning points immediately. So head on over to fmgaragegurus.com and learn all about Garage Gurus training, support, and get in on the rewards. We're fighting for web dominancy all the time, it seems. And the thing I love about your product, it's vanity. It's me and it's mine. And again, listener, that what really impressed me when I researched this, so that I could bring you an intelligent conversation with Bruno, was how the technology worked, and how I could dial a number here, and there could be how many? Couple hundred 1-800-MECHANICs throughout the U.S., depending on the area codes. I don't know that number.
There's about 350 area codes, but realistically, we're doing it by like a city basis or like a DMA basis. And that's why I said the right types of shops, because you want to be someone who's large enough or who has maybe a couple of shops to fully utilize this, especially if you're doing things like radio or TV. A full saturation for us will probably be about 200 area codes.
So it's really an exclusive club, if you will.
It is.
Where'd you get the number? I mean, did you have to go hunting on Everest for it?
So, yeah, every number has a pretty good story. You don't just call AT&T and say, hey, can I get this? There was a mechanical candle company out in Washington State, and I had been calling them for those who don't know, there's those ones that won't burn things down, they just flicker. And I had been calling the owner of the business for about 5 years. And I said, listen, you have this number. I can't imagine you going gangbusters selling mechanical candles with it. Would you sell it to me? Absolutely not. Well, he sold his business in between one of those years I was calling. And the new owner said, well, maybe I would, but I'm going to need the number for a little bit of time because people still call it. They remember it. So he made me phase it out. Well, we had to finance it over 2 years and phase it out of his business over 2 years. And to be honest with you, I'm still getting calls, which I then forward to him from people looking for candles.
So it's very limited. It's very vanity-like. It is, to me, a way to, as you said, get some dominancy on the phone and own a number in your marketplace. How do people get in touch with you?
So they can obviously call 1-800-MECHANIC, and that'll ring to me. Our main sales line is 1-800-STRONG-SALES, but it all rings to me.
I'll be sure in the show notes, Bruno, whatever you want me to put in there so that people can get in touch with you would be great. This is an intelligent marketing wave of the future.
It is, and here's the fun part about it is, we've been doing this for over 10 years now, and there was a period of time where I wasn't sure if vanity phone numbers were the right way to go with all the internet buzz, but it's like we're seeing a renaissance with the phone because everybody did that. I mean, I've talked to several shop owners, and the ones who had websites early on, they said it was like getting money hand over fist. It was cheap. We were the first people to have a website. It worked out great. But today they're saying, it's not like that anymore. I pay for every single contact online, whether I monetize that contact or not. So it's becoming like the Yellow Pages, except that every time someone calls you, whether or not they buy something, you're paying for that. And, that's just no way to grow your business for the long term. What happens when you stop spending as much on SEO? Having this number is something that if you put together a good campaign and you have a strong marketing presence and you add a number like 1-800-MECHANIC behind it, that's a hearts and minds kind of thing. People are going to remember that number, and you will have local dominance in your market. And I've seen it. This isn't like, look at 1-800-CONTACTS, 1-800-DENTIST, 1-800-FLOWERS, 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Every single one of those companies is number one in their respective industry. And that is not a coincidence. That is not a coincidence. They get more, and this is a really big part that I want to emphasize to the listeners. They get more MPGs out of every ad they run than their competitors because they're memorable. And I know a lot of the shop owners are getting a lot of the independents are getting a lot of pressure from the dealerships that are getting into auto repair. Ford's got their quick lane now. And you've got the nationals that are buying up anyone who's got a few locations. And that's putting a lot of pressure on the independents. Well, we know you can't beat them on budget because they got big budgets, but you can advertise more effectively or more efficiently than they are. And that's what something like 1-800-MECHANIC does for you. It's an advantage that they can't have.
1-800-MECHANIC sounds big and national. Does it get a local feel? Will that work?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, I have plenty of clients to attest to this that have had success using their numbers for their local market. And I mean, we do sell this effectively locally, market by market. Today, it's much different than it used to be because you would see a toll-free number 30 years ago, and you had no way to verify if this was a small company or a national company. Well, thanks to the internet, it's very easy to verify someone as being a local company. And, why let the dealerships get the advantage of a national brand, but being local and not taking the same advantage for yourself? The toll-free numbers today do not translate to being a national company whatsoever. And the reason people are doing toll-free, because it's not about who's paying for the call anymore. It's about 800 being recognized because, people travel with their cell phones. They don't get rid of their numbers now. Everybody knows 800. Everybody knows toll-free. And that's all part of what makes these numbers more memorable than regular phone numbers and why they have such a high recall rate.
800's a brand. And then you add mechanic to it and connect it to you in all that you do to market yourself. It helps build the brand, yours.
It's going to bring you those customers you want. Those people that are calling you, they're more likely to buy. They're going to come in faster. 61% of people that call a business are in the purchase phase of the buying cycle, meaning they're very close to buying. You can't say the same about web leads. So these are the kind of people you want. And most importantly, and I'm going to leave you with this, 84% of people want to make a phone call for their first service. Because I talk to a lot of shop owners and they say, yeah, people book appointments online. And I say, that's true after they've done business with you one time. But getting that first call is so critical. I would say that going back to the whole national versus, smaller independent shops, they don't know why you're better than the nationals until they've done business with you. So getting them in the door is so critical because you'll never get a chance to prove that point if you don't get that phone call.
Is it expensive?
No, it's really not. Our average local market, our clients are paying somewhere between $249 to $500 a month for a market. So it takes a shop of a certain size that's advertising to really see the benefit. And I'll say this to people all the time. If you're not advertising, don't use the number.
Why is the range so big?
It's based on population and size. So, New York City is going to sell more than...
Of course. Okay. Why didn't I think of that? So, Bruno, I've been in business for 40 years in my market, and I know all my customers know my number by heart. And, it's just ingrained in them. Can I fight the fact that my legacy number is there with 1-800-MECHANIC? I mean, do I give up that, or do I just totally rebrand myself with a new number?
At the end of the day, poll your customers. You're not going to say two numbers in your ad. That's just not good business. And poll your customers. Unless they have your number programmed in their phone, they do not know your number. They do not. And I can tell you that matter of factly. Poll them, because you'll see that the people don't know your number.
So, Bruno, I have multiple locations. I buy the number. Does the call go to only one of my assigned locations?
No. So that's going back to the basis of our technology. We can do nearest location routing. So we can automatically route callers to the location nearest them. We can present them with a menu that allows them to select which location they want. We have even things called like a round robin routing. So I shouldn't say round robin, but sequential, meaning shop A gets one call, then B, then C, then D, then it starts over again. But if the caller calls the same number, 1-800-MECHANIC, they'll get a hold of the shop they originally contacted in the first place. So we have so many different pieces of technology to overlay on these call systems that it will make your life so much easier. And with the routing and reporting system, you'll see which location got which calls. So you'll know which shop's getting the most business.
Wow, is that smart? I'm so happy you came on to share your thoughts, your ideas, your concepts, your marketing insight on the telephone. Wow, who would have thought in this digital age that we're in, we'd be talking about the telephone?
I know, but we're still listening to radio. We're still watching TV. I don't know, maybe not everyone, but I still get a newspaper delivered to my house.
Me too, actually. Bruno Tabbi from Ignition Toll Free. Thanks for coming on board and talking about 1-800-MECHANIC.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Bruno Tabbi. Your valuable experience in the field gives our aftermarket listeners and shop owners another important marketing strategy to up their business. Find the key talking points, additional bio information, and website links at remarkableresults.biz/E356 for Bruno's information. And don't forget about the excellent content under the theme of business coaches. You can find the series listed on the show notes sidebar on the website. Spend some time and see the mountain of content that will inspire you to find the next level in your life and career. Hey, I'd love to hear your input and your thoughts. Email carm@remarkableresults.biz. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from the premier automotive aftermarket podcast. Until next time.